Many of us are tired of fighting the same racial battles over and over again. We are tired of waiting for the next racial controversy to generate more animosity and hostility. We are tired of running into old ideologies that do not serve us well. We are tired of hearing the same arguments and getting nothing done. Those who endorse colorblindness immediately blame those who want to be proactive in dealing with racial issues. Those with an anti-racism mindset blame those who are not as active as they are. Those groups talk past each other. Those who are not comfortable with either approach have not been able to find a different path forward and just watch the ongoing conflict. I am going to describe that third path. If we can stop talking past each other and instead talk to each other, I believe change is possible. We can let the next racial incident lead us to a real conversation that brings us together rather than rips us asunder. Maybe I am wrong. Maybe there is no solution and we are trapped in racial polarization. But I refuse to accept that fatalism which says this is all there is. Yes, this is all there is if we refuse to move out of the colorblindness anti-racism dichotomy. But we do not have to stay here. We can either keep doing what we are doing, or we can try a novel approach. An approach that has not been utilized nearly enough, but one we have good reason to think will be effective. If we can develop a movement based on mutual accountability, then we will finally have a chance to break out of our destructive racial cycle. Who is this book for? In the subsequent chapters, I will more explicitly point out the failures of our previous efforts, rooted mostly in attempts at either colorblindness or anti-racism, but for some individuals, I do not need to point out these shortcomings. There is a group that wants to address unfair racial outcomes in our society, and ignoring these outcomes is not attractive to them. But they know the anti-racism method does not help construct the type of atmosphere where sustainable change is possible. These are my people. They are the ones looking for a third path, one that does not ignore the racialization of our society, but does not drive individuals away with heavy-handed anti-racism approaches either. Of course, many individuals committed to colorblindness are so dedicated that nothing I say will move them. Let's say this is 15 to 20% of this country. There is probably a similar sized group committed to anti-racism. If this estimation is correct, then 60 to 70% of the country may be open to new ways of thinking. Many realize, as I have come to realize, that these paths are going nowhere and instead intensify our racial conflict. Others may favor one approach over the other, but still have doubts about it. Wherever you fall, I encourage you to consider a new way of dealing with racial alienation. Finally, let me tackle a potential barrier for some listeners. This book is written by a Christian and published by a Christian publishing house. It is tempting to say the issues brought forward here apply only to Christians. I disagree. Throughout this book, I will rely on my personal ideas and empirical research to argue that a mutual accountability model is superior to both colorblindness and anti-racism. It is true that my Christian theological beliefs inspired my original considerations of the mutual accountability model, yet my confidence grew as I looked at real-world evidence. It is also true that several of my examples involve Christians and Christian settings. I use chapter 6 to outline my theological arguments, and that chapter can be valuable for motivating believers to adopt mutual accountability to address racial issues. But if Christianity is not your thing, skip that chapter. In the remaining chapters, I write for a wider audience to give these ideas a fair hearing. Chapter 1. We need a new path. Who am I? And why should you even listen to me? I am a black man. When you are a black man in the United States, it is difficult to escape your racial status. So it should not be surprising that soon after receiving my doctorate in sociology, I started conducting research on issues of race and ethnicity. About 15 years ago, I believed I had reached the pinnacle of my career as a race scholar with the publication of 2 important books.